Rain narrates everything that has happened to him so far. Tanya, the Dragonoid, has become their friend, so they are now a party of 3. Their current quest is slime extermination, and the group is searching for slimes in the forest. Although Tanya finds one and eliminates it using fire magic, they are unable to find groups of slimes, which is their current goal. Rain explains that slimes are monsters that even F-rank adventurers can defeat easily, but because of this most adventurers ignore them. This allows the slimes to multiply so much that they cause severe damage to fields and crops. Canaday is hesitant about their mission. Although it is easy to defeat slimes, their jelly-like body pops when you defeat them. This causes one to end up sticky from killing them. Tanya points out that it is because she uses physical attacks. She promises Canaday that she will just clean up the slimes with her fireball and breath, and this cheers the cat spread up. MC notes that both of the girls are getting along now unlike before. Their search for slime continues, but they still come out empty-handed. MC suggests they try searching for slimes from the sky. With a bird perching on the rock, MC tells the girls that he is going to use an assimilate spell. He casts the spell and after doing so collapses. The girls panic, but the bird seemingly speaking to them in Rain's voice calls to them. He explains that he transferred part of his soul into the bird and settled his consciousness there as well. By doing this, he can move the body of the bird as he likes it. He further tells them this in one of the skills of a beast tamer. He adds that he is talking to them by sending his thoughts through magic. Both the girls are amazed at how he could use that spell. MC is puzzled as he thought that this was normal for a beast tamer. In unison, the girls tell him that the skill is not normal. MC, as a bird, quickly flies off to scout for slimes. The party finds a group of slime all bunched up. Canaday lifts a rock and declares they have to start, but Tanya stops her. She asks Rain about the spells he knows. He tells her that he can do novice-level magic like heal and fireball. Tanya asks him to use a fireball on all of the slimes on the forest floor. He is hesitant as he does not have that much power. Tanya pushes him and assures MC that it is fine. He starts the spell and fires it on the slimes. The resulting spell destroys all the slimes in a blink of an eye. Tanya smiles, and she explains that Rain's physical strength was increased after contracting Canaday, so the beast tamer gained Dragonoid magic from her. She informs Rain that Dragonoid magic is second among the ultimate species, and this power now resides in him. This revelation makes MC dizzy. A new group of slimes fills the forest grounds. Tanya suggests using them as practice as magic is harder to control than physical power. Since he is unable to control magic, this practice with slimes will be good for him. MC wants to get stronger so he doesn't become an embarrassment for the party. He wants to learn more in Tanya to train him. Tanya's training turns out to be arduous Spartan training, but it helped him to improve. They proceed back to the guild and Rain enters to exchange the rune stones they collected. Outside, Canaday and Tanya are greeted by a girl who asks them what their quest was. They explain that it was slime extermination. The little girl tells them her mother had told her how slimes eat all the vegetables in the field. They reassure her that they had taken care of the slimes and she can now eat vegetables. The girl replies she will eat vegetables, but she likes meat more and they all agree the meat tastes better. MC comes out from the guild with the money they earned and they go on a shopping spree with it. As they go around town, MC notes that the villagers have accepted Tanya as a normal girl. They go to a restaurant and the girls start munching down on the food. They gobble up food so fast that stacks of plates fill the table. MC thinks that the stomachs of ultimate species may able be ultimate in size. As they discuss the events of the day, their conversation turns to the origin of MC's taming abilities. Rain tells them that it might not be interesting, but both girls wanted to hear it. Rain narrates that he learned to tame in his hometown. The village is where beast tamers gathered and his parents were both tamers. As he grew up, he naturally learned taming as he learned about the world around him. The insect taming skill he had used was taught by someone from the village. It was a small nameless village, but it was a nice place. He shares that his hometown was destroyed. Both the girls apologize for asking Rain as they just wanted to know more about him. They do not want to force Rain to share more if he didn't want to continue. MC thinks to himself that the feeling to understand more about one's comrades is a feeling he understands because of his previous experience with the hero party. Rain obliges and continues with his story. It turns out that when MC was 12, he went to practice taming on his own as both his parents were busy. He practiced away from the village and did this until it started to get dark. In the darkness of the night, he saw the sky was red. He turned and saw his village on fire as he rushed towards the village but arrived too late. The village was attacked by monsters, and he was the only survivor. Adventurers found him and took him in. He worked to earn money ever since and lived at an inn that belonged to an acquaintance of the adventurers. He gave up everything just to survive until about 6 months ago when Arios, the hero, and his party invited him to join them. He grabbed the opportunity to make a difference and stop the tragedy that had befallen his town from ever happening again. In hindsight, he realized that Arios just wanted someone to do all the menial things for them. Rain apologizes for the depressing story and starts telling them that it was pathetic. Canaday puts her hands over Rain's and tells him that she now understands him better. She realized the strange feeling she had during their fight with the bandit and the king lizard, and even the time when Rain saved her. It turns out that Rain puts himself in danger and tries so hard to help others so he can be of help to others. He does not want others to have the same traumatic experience he had when he was younger. Canaday points out he is not pitiful but admirable. Tanya also puts her hand over theirs and tells MC he is just too kind. He sacrifices a lot of himself to help others. She has not seen anyone like him. She is proud to have a master like him. Rain realizes that his comrades had acknowledged his work and all his efforts, unlike his previous party members who had berated and looked down on him. Tanya speaks out against the hero party that had kicked out MC and called him useless. Canaday also chimes in stating that without Rain, the party may now be in trouble. Both girls express their deep hatred of the hero party. Rain thanks them for being angry for him, but Tanya asks tsundere, saying she is not angry for him, but just feels what they did was cruel. The next day, the party is tasked with orc subjugation. Orcs, according to Rain, are E-rank monsters and are smarter than goblins because fight with weapons. The two girls decide to have a contest who kills more orcs. Tanya uses her fire breath magic to eliminate several orcs at once. This stuns Canaday, but they continue with the quest. As they kill one monster after another, Tanya comments that at their pace, they will finish the quest in no time. MC reminds both of them that they should still be on guard as they are just beginners and do not have much experience. They might encounter something unexpected. Tanya brushes this off all and declares that a dragonoid like her will never lose to the likes of the lowly orcs. She rushes off as Canaday goes running to catch up with her. Rain looks on and hopes that nothing bad happens. They continue killing orcs. One of the orcs tries running, so Canaday shouts at Tanya to take care of it. Tanya swings her tail and impales the orc on its tip. She notices an orc on the ground and wonders how she missed one. She approaches it to kill it with her fire magic. The orc suddenly grabs her ankle and tips her over. She falls on her butt, but is still able to eliminate the orc with her magic. Another orc appears from behind her and stabs at her. MC blocks the knife with his arm and Canaday finishes the monster off. Tanya panics at the amount of blood caused by the knife wound. Rain calms her down, saying he has healing magic. He uses heal spell and the wound vanishes. Tanya guiltily looks at Rain, but he assures her that he is fine. They gather the rune stones from the orcs they killed and go back to the city. After MC steps out of the guild, Canaday tells him that she left and did not look so good. Tanya seemed to want to be alone for a bit. Tanya turns out to be on a bridge contemplating the events that day. Her thoughts are interrupted by the little girl they spoke to yesterday. She was curious about what Tanya had defeated that day. The dragonoid admits that she did not defeat anything that day and sadly turns away. The girl asks if she is hurt, and if she is, she must talk about it. Tanya thanks her for the advice and the girl leaves. Tanya realizes that she had made her friends worry. She was too confident as a dragonoid and let her guard down despite being reminded by Rain. She doesn't know how to face them again. MC appears and asks her what is wrong. Although hesitant at first, Tanya eventually apologizes for what happened. She realizes that her mistake could have cost Rain his life and starts crying. MC pats her head and smiles. This surprises Tanya and wonders why he is not mad. MC explains that she has reflected upon it and should be more careful next time. He is also glad that she is not hurt. He points to Canaday, who is also worried about her. Canaday rushes and hugs Tanya. At the end, they still have to share just one room as the innkeeper still insists on letting Rain sleep in the same room with the girls. Despite MC's request, the innkeeper just smiles and tells Rain to do his best and leaves. Tanya looks on and realizes that MC is indeed not mad at her and happy that she is well. As MC sleeps, Tanya watches over him. She wonders how he is a very strange guy. He even let them, his familiars, use the bed. Sleeping on the hard floor would be uncomfortable, but being very kind, he still did it. Tanya cannot get Rain's face out of her head, and her chest starts feeling warm. She wonders what she is thinking about and realizes that she likes Rain. She shakes the thought off and takes the blanket to tuck Rain in. The next day as they walk, Tanya suggests they buy equipment as they have been going on a lot of quests. She points out that as the ultimate species, she and Canaday are fine, but as a human MC needs more gear. Rain agrees with this and plans to buy some when they reach the city. As they head towards the city, our MC reflects on his current lifestyle with Tanya and Canaday. They then get confronted by Arios and his group. Arios gives a sarcastic greeting to them, and Rain immediately suggests they take a different route. Arios speaks some disparaging remarks, so Canaday and Tanya step in to defend their master. Tanya then questions Arios' group's identity as that of the hero party. Disliking Tanya's tone, Arios tries to rebuke her, but realizes that she and Canaday are, respectively, a dragonoid and cat spirit. With Arios' party that they're Rain's tamed monsters, Rain asks what business they have for him. Arios claims that due to the difficulty of the Lost Woods, they had to withdraw from it. Hence, Arios offers an olive branch to Rain, allowing him to rejoin his group despite his uselessness. Agath, Lean, and Mina then all comment that Rain should be grateful for them allowing him to rejoin their group. However, Rain refuses their offer, but Lene tries to convince him, claiming a relic called the Shield of Truth located in the forest would allow them a fighting chance against the Demon King. Furthermore, Lene mentions that monsters would swarm and attack settlements without that relic, which triggers memories of Rain's past. Under pressure, Rain quietly agrees to it, and Arios' group chastises him for not accepting from the start. As Arios' group starts to walk off, both Canaday and Tanya stop the hero party and demand that they properly apologize to Rain by groveling. The suggestion shocks the hero party, and Tanya threatens to incinerate them with her breath. If they don't voice their disdain at it, grabbing Rain by the cuff of his collar, Arios demands that he keep his pets on a shorter leash, which the pet remark upsets Rain. However, Arios insists on it and tries to make him confess that they're not his pets, but insinuates they're his lovers, causing Rain to punch Arios. With that, Arios challenges Rain and his tamed monsters to a duel to see who is stronger, and Rain accepts it. In separate locations, Canaday faces off against Agath, Tanya faces off against Mina and Lean, and Rain faces off against Arios. Canaday's fight starts first, and Agath is happy that he has to fight against an ultimate species such as her, and Canaday vows to beat him up and make him apologize to Rain. On the other hand, Agath has no intention of doing so. Hence, Canaday starts the fight with a quick and powerful kick followed by a flurry of punches. Agath manages to defend against the attacks with his broadsword, but is quickly overwhelmed by her attacks. Canaday says how he still hasn't made a single move against her and disses him for being in the hero party. It triggers Agath, who finally counterattacks with a special move Hellfire and Brimstone Slash. However, Canaday easily deflects the attack. Furious by this turn of events, Agath proclaims he'll fight with his full strength, and Canaday proclaims she'll fight with half of her own. The revelation shocks Agath that Canaday hasn't been using even half of her strength thus far, and she quickly ends the fight with a single kick. Elsewhere, Tanya faces off against Lean and Mina, who openly claims she'd prefer fighting Arios than those two because they're so weak. Tanya's remark upsets the two mages, and they cast Gravity Burst and Holy Flare. By snapping her hand, however, Tanya dispels the attacks. Thus, Lean and Mina respectively cast Judgment Arrow and Red Crimson again. Tanya dispels the attacks with a snap of her fingers and claims she used what is called Materia Canceller. Refusing to believe they're beaten, Those stupid girls cast 2 spells against Tanya. However, she easily dispels them. To finish things off, Tanya casts an epic spell, Ultimate End, which frightens them, making them to pass out. On Rain's side, he faces off against Arios, who forces him back with his swift swordplay. Despite this, Rain only takes minor scratches from Arios' attacks and notes how underwhelming the pressure he is giving compared to Tanya. Rain then attacks Arios with a punch to the gut, which winded him. Rain then reveals, forming contracts with Canaday and Tanya granted him newfound power. Utilizing the analytics he's gathered from his observations of Arios and with the help of an RB, Rain wins his fight against Arios. Moments later, Tanya and Canaday rush to Rain's side and embrace him. Rain, Canaday, and Tanya are in the Lost Woods. Canaday notices that the place is gloomy. Tanya affirms her observation as even though it is still the afternoon, the place is very dark. She suggests she would just burn the entire forest down. MC angrily scolds her as burning down the forest will endanger the animals that live there. They are looking for the Shield of Truth, an item that can only be used by the hero to defeat the Demon Lord. They use a map that Arios had drawn, but the Lost Wood seems to have grown quickly that the map becomes useless. In a flashback, Arios had given them the quest to look for the shield after Arios and his party were forced to apologize to Rain. At first, the hero party was reluctant to apologize, but with some encouragement from Tanya, they did so sincerely. Arios tells them that the shield is being held by a monster in the deepest part of the Lost Woods. As the shield is essential in defeating the Demon King, he wants Rain to get it as soon as possible. He proudly tells them they must do this for his sake as the fate of the world depends on it. Tanya notices how proud and arrogant the beaten hero is. Canaday shouts at them that they may not be sorry enough. This scares the entire hero party. MC pats the head of the girls as he accepts the quest from Arios. He does not notice the effect of his actions on the girls, as they seem enthralled by it. Back in the present, Rain's contemplation is interrupted by Canaday. She tells him she is not thrilled by the quest and questions if the shield will help the hero. Tanya also pipes in that even without the hero party, she can defeat the Demon King. Rain this time pets the girls' heads, which makes them both blush. Tanya asks why he is doing it. MC apologizes, immediately saying it's a habit of his. Canaday meanwhile softly says it's okay. He tells both of them that he is very happy that both of them got angry in his place, but he tells them he will help Arios. Being the hero, he is the only one who can beat the Demon King. Both girls feel that he really is very kind, but is willing to help him with the quest. Rain whistles to call down a bird. He uses his Assimilate spell to once again fly out to search for a path. From the air, he sees how expansive the forest is. He sees a narrow hidden path that connects to the deepest part of the forest. He returns to his party, and they start on the path. He shares his discovery with them, and Canaday immediately sets out. Tanya and Rain call her back as she doesn't know the direction they have to take. After traversing the path for a while, they find a marker they could place to note the midway mark of their journey. Canaday wonders if they had taken the wrong path. MC negates this as he had shared the information he got from the birds in the sky. All of them couldn't be wrong. Tanya also believes they took the right path. She suspects that there is magic in the woods that fools them. She casts a material search spell and pink orbs of light rise from the ground and starts leading them forward. They arrive at a clearing with a large tree in its center. Tanya explains that there is illusionary magic placed in the forest with the tree as its center. This is why they end up walking in circles. As Tanya continues to explain the effects of the magic, Canaday gets dizzy from all the information. The Dragonoid tells them that the spell is like a barrier of protection. She requests Canaday to split the tree in half. She is hesitant to do this, and both start arguing. Rain steps in to stop them. Tanya tells her that since the tree is acting like a barrier, they need to take it down. MC asks Tanya if she can just cast a spell to destroy the barrier. He wants to preserve the tree. However, since the magic used is a powerful one, she would need a long time to undo it. Canaday notes that the hero might make fun of Rain again if they take too long. She decides to do it, but MC objects. Canaday does not hear him and starts to wind up for a powerful punch. As her punch nears the trunk of the tree, she hears a voice asking her to leave. This stops her in her tracks, and she trembles as she asks to whom that voice belongs to. The voice keeps repeating the order to leave the forest, and this scares Canaday. She retreats behind MC as a fairy emerges from the tree. Upon seeing this, MC narrates that a fairy is also an ultimate species like dragonoids and cat spirits. They are experts in magic and are even stronger than dragonoids. 200 years ago, fairies stopped appearing in front of humans. He recalls how fairies were the first inhabitants of mountains and forests. Humans started to cut down forests and thus became their natural enemies. A battle was fought, and the fairies eventually hid deep in the forest from any human contact. Ever since the war, fairies despise humans. Rain greets the fairy, but she repeats her message to leave. All of his attempts to communicate are rebuffed by the fairy saying that they should leave. If they do not leave, she will show them the extent of her power. With this warning, the party decides to make a run for it.
実力で排除します。
一度引くぞ。
追ってきてない？
ああ、大丈夫そうだ。
びっくりした。
Tanya was surprised that she would attack them suddenly. Canaday also notes that fairies are known to be a gentle race. MC explains that it is strange for fairies to even show themselves. They start discussing the possible reason for the fairy's strange behavior. Tanya observes that she only appeared when Canaday was about to destroy the tree. Canaday then realizes there should be a monster holding the shield of truth inside the barrier. She only appeared once as they tried to destroy it. Rain is puzzled. However, he also did not believe fairies would work with anyone at all. Tanya insists that since they are in a hurry, they should just destroy the barrier and continue their quest. She suggests that she will use her magic to fend off the fairy while Canaday destroys the tree. This way, they will not need to defeat the fairy, but this plan does not sit right with MC. He decides to try talking to the fairy again. Both of them are surprised by this plan and start to convince him otherwise. MC reasons out that they were surprised and took a fighting stance when they saw the fairy. He does not want to use force to attain their objective. He reasons that if they do not show hostility, it will be fine. Both girls let out a sigh of exasperation and realize Rain is being too kind again. MC faces off with the fairy with Canaday and Tanya staying far back. He greets the fairy who still insists he leaves. He explains that they just need something from the deepest part of the forest. The fairy starts to attack, and Rain tells her it's okay for her to attack him as king as it will make her trust him. He then tells Canaday and Tanya not to attack. The fairy summons arrows and aims them at MC. He waves both girls back as he braces himself for the attack. With a bead of sweat running down his cheek, he recalls how countless times as a beast tamer words were inadequate. It was facing the beast as himself that his true feeling and intentions reached and tamed them. The arrows fly toward him and hit him in several places. MC does not move, which surprises the fairy. He again tells her she wants to talk. The fairy questions if he is human, as humans were the ones to destroy their homes. MC counters this by saying he is human, but not all humans are the same. There are some good people also. Still unconvinced, she launches another barrage of arrows. Tanya and Canaday pull MC back and stand in front of him. The fairy sees this and dissolves the arrow before they hit. Rain questions why they intervened. Canaday says that she is angry, and Tanya also points out he is not persuading at all and is just being plain reckless. Addressing the fairy, Canaday attests to Rain's good intentions. She also shares how he saved her and continues to help people around the city. Tanya also vouches for Rain's character. She notes that it was Rain who objected to raising the Lost Woods at the start of their quest. It was also Rain who tried to stop Canaday from destroying the tree. The fairy lowers her hand and stops her attacks. She notes how weird MC is. She tells them she is Sora, and it is the first time she has met people like Rain. She lands and offers her hand to Rain. She decides to listen to them. Upon hearing that they are looking for the Shield of Truth, she explains to them that she made the barrier to protect their fairy village. She cannot remove the barrier as the path ahead would lead them to the fairy village and not to a monster guarding the shield. It turns out that the fairies are guarding the shield as part of a pact made by the fairies with the previous hero. Tanya points out that the hero, Arios, had been misinformed by fake news regarding the shield. Sora asks them to wait, and she teleports away. When she returns, she hands them the Shield of Truth. Rain tries to give Sora something in return for the shield, but she declines his offer. Tanya declares they have completed their quest and Canaday excitedly invites them to go back to the city. Rain reluctantly agrees and thanks Sora before leaving. She then reminds them to leave immediately as they have no other business there. As they leave, Sora turns towards them and seemingly wants to talk to them. She sighs and turns back. Rain stops and turns back to Sora. He asks her if there is anything she needs. MC explained to the puzzled Sora it's a feeling he gets. He assures her it's okay to talk about it no matter how small. He reminds her that she gave them the Shield of Truth, so they might be able to help her if she wants it. Sora is hesitant to get them involved, but MC again reassures her. No matter how dangerous it would be, they are willing to help her. Before she can refuse again, Tanya interrupts her saying that is Rain's nature to be overly kind. And once he wants to help, he will pursue it until he finishes. Canaday also assures Sora that they are willing to help. They are strong despite their appearance. Sora is finally convinced of their trustworthiness and shares her dilemma. Her twin sister Runa, who has been guarding the tree with her, has been kidnapped. A monster who claimed to be part of the Demon King's army attacked them. They tried to run but were caught by it. They tried fighting it, but their magic did not affect it. The monster took Runa. Rain asks what kind of monster would defeat fairies. Sora reveals that the monster was called Shadow Knight. MC realizes that the C-rank monster has a skill that nullified magic attacks, so only physical attacks would beat it. Fairies being only focused on magic are outmatched by the monster. Sora continued that the Shadow Knight demanded that she remove the barrier in exchange for Runa. She could not do it, so she ran and asked for help from the village head. However, he only told her to give up on Runa, and that it was their fault they stepped out of the barrier. Canaday and Tanya both interjected that the reply was too cruel. In tears, Sora says she understands the village head's reasoning, the life of the entire fairy race, or her little sisters, but she still refuses to give up on her sister. MC wipes away her tears. He comforts her that she had tried her best. He knows he had been worried and uneasy all this time. Rain stands up and promises her that they will save her sister, protect the fairy village, and defeat the Shadow Knight. This overwhelms Sora, and she hugs MC while crying her heart out. In the lair of the Shadow Knight, Runa is tied up and imprisoned under his watchful gaze.
And I'm pretty sure that you are.